Mr. Speaker, good afternoon, and thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
I think much of this has been discussed, and I really don't want to belabor. And I think many of us can agree that one of the primary goals of this is to make voting easier for those who are well-intended. And that is, of course, the vast majority of voters here in the state of Connecticut. But we have to be honest with ourselves. Not everybody out there, not every voter, is well-intended. There are bad actors. There are folks who work very, very hard to utilize the system to their advantage. We see it every year. I'll give you an example of one, and I think it's very, very relevant because it involves absentee ballots. In October of 2010, two gentlemen, one by the name of Sam Adoino and a gentleman named Sammy Adoino Jr., I assume his son, signed out 250 absentee ballots to an address. They signed out those 250 absentee ballots to number 1238 North Avenue in Bridgeport. 250 absentee ballots, 250 would-be voters. You know what's that? 1238 North Avenue in Bridgeport? An empty lot. There's no building there. There's no apartment there. There's no nothing. There's just a sign with a realtor's name on it to call if you want to buy the empty lot. 250 would-be voters via absentee ballot registered to an empty lot. There are bad actors. There are folks who wish to manipulate the system that we have designed, that the Constitution has designed, with best intentions. There are folks who wish to utilize it improperly, to impact elections. That is our reality. And while, of course, we focus on those who are well-intended, we focus on those who want to do the right thing, and as Representative Cafaro mentioned before, we focus on those who get tied up at their kid's soccer game. They get off the train late. Those aren't all the people who are impacted by this bill and this potential constitutional amendment. And for those two individuals who signed out 250 absentee ballots to an address, to a residence, to an apartment building that didn't exist, those individuals had to work through the absentee ballot process as currently established in the Constitution and in statute. They had to work through that process to ensure that those 250 people at this imaginary address were able to vote. What we are doing here today makes their effort easier. It makes their effort to identify 250 voters from an address that doesn't exist. It makes it easier. Because essentially what we do in lines 29 through 31 is open the door to early voting. That's what we're doing. So whereas these two gentlemen in 2010 would only have to get those absentee ballots returned, and that's not an easy process, now all they have to do is just get somebody to the voting location before the election. There are bad actors, and as well-intended as the language in this statute may be, we need to be cognizant of those individuals who wish to manipulate a well-intended system to their own detrimental intent. We need to be aware of that, and I ask that we consider that sincerely as we cast our vote on this resolution before us, and as we position that vote and market that vote and communicate the impact of this resolution in 2014 when and if it appears on the ballot. There are bad actors, and we need to consider the implications of how they might manipulate what we are putting forth here today. And I think we all need to be aware of that. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Gentlewoman from the 34th.